Those toxic positivity fans are the enablers. They do enable. For sure. They do. Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if they're paid by Bandai Namco operatives, bro. Sinchi's... I'm telling you, bro. Sinchi's fucking paid by Bandai Namco. Easy Court is paid by Bandai Namco, bro. Nah. You got me. It was me all along. I was Mr. Bandai and Namco. First name Bandai, last name Namco. You got me, bro.
Hello everyone, I hope you guys like that intro because holy shit, what is happening in the One Punch Man community right now? What the hell is actually happening? But before that, breaking news! Easy Court has officially been paid by Bandai Namco to the fandom. That's right, their corporate overlords have wired him 5 billion yen and also a Gundam model kit to tell you that hashtag boycott Bandai Namco doesn't matter. Easy Court, the sellout, the traitor of the people, the man who defends a multi-billionaire company. Yeah, sure, let's pretend Bandai actually knows I exist, you know? Alright, so in serious note, here's actually what's happening. Fans are furious over One Punch Man Season 3 production. The animation, the direction, almost everything is a downgrade compared to Season 2. And obviously, some people have decided to not attack the stuff and not attack the studio, which is something that is very much rational and is common sense. Thank God they still have those. But at the same time, some people have also decided to fight back by targeting Bandai Namco, one of the companies in the production committee. And yes, the hashtag boycott Bandai Namco is pretty much everywhere after the release of episode 5, which is, I would argue, is definitely a disappointment. And I do understand the frustration from the fans of wanting a better produced quality of an anime. And some people are even cancelling their subscription, saying that they want to boycott, and also even encouraging others to stop supporting anything with Bandai's name on it. All because they believe that this will teach the company a lesson or even have an impact to change the future of One Punch Man as an IP. Yes, I get the sentiment. I understand the frustration of the fans. Again, wanting a better treatment for an IP that they love. But a serious question, do you really think Bandai is the sole root of everything that is happening here and not the anime industry system in the first place? This movement, well, yes, it is loud, but obviously in the One Punch Man circle, is pretty much a nothing burger. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I understand that they want the best for their favorite anime, but do they actually know who and what they are actually boycotting? Because I'm not sure if they realize that they are trying to boycott a multi-billion-dollar company that owns other major IPs. And again, their main audience is in Japan, whereas this boycott Bandai Namco movement mainly started in the western side of the community. And they somehow think this will significantly affect the way the production of One Punch Man will move on in the future. Because trust me, screaming at a production committee, specifically Bandai, is like screaming at a wall, talking to a building because they won't care at all. Alright, now let's clarify this whole situation. While people online are acting like Bandai Namco woke up one morning, slammed their fist on the table and say, yes, let's ruin One Punch Man Season 3 and make every animator suffer. Well, that is probably the case, but I doubt that is the entirety of the story of it, because that is not how the anime industry works. Is the production committee the reason One Punch Man Season 3 looks rough? Yes, absolutely. There is some blame there. But is it completely their fault? Well, I wouldn't say yes, because people usually oversimplify everything to company bad, boycott fix. Because the truth is, unfortunately, extremely complicated. Alright, so the production committee system is both the cause and the cage, I would say. When people say Bandai ruined One Punch Man, they are kind of leaving out 70% of the actual picture, since the production committee is not just one company, and it is the group that decides the overall budgets, who animates it, how long the studio has to make, how many resources they get, what the schedule looks like, and how strict the deadlines are. In this case, yes, One Punch Man Season 3's schedule was tight, yes, resources weren't ideal, and yes, the JC stuff had a mountain to climb. All of that is true, but unfortunately, here's the part where people usually ignores. Just delay the season, we can wait. This is not my YouTube video where I say, oh my goodness guys, I just came back from vacation, I'm a bit tired today, so I'm just going to delay my review video. It's not. Anime production schedules are a fully locked pipeline. Even if JC Stuff suddenly said, yeah, we need 3 months, that one delay creates a domino effect. And the committee members would be like, bro, we already booked the broadcast times months ago. We've printed everything already. We already bought the ad slots. If you move the date, we're gonna lose cash. So like our promotional campaigns are literally scheduled. So like, So yes, JC Stuff probably wanted more time, but one thing is just not enough. Because the committee can't just shift everything around because one studio just says, please. Again, it's a negotiation between multiple companies with money involved. If that doesn't align with your own vision of how this project will go, it will not happen at all. Talking about it not happening, I'm pretty sure you guys heard of Be Grateful it even got an adaptation, or Be Grateful that it even got a season 3. Unfortunately, that is kinda true. Yes, people hate hearing this, but it is the reality. Not every manga gets animated. Most never will. Wan and Murata are incredibly talented, but they aren't as lucky as Tatsuki Fujimoto, who got such a good adaptation of his manga. Even one-shots. Some mangaka gets the dream teams. Some get committees that play safe and don't gamble too much money on their work. And that is the unfortunate truth of the anime industry. It's not fair, but that is the system. Getting an adaptation at all is already a miracle for most creators. But is it court? This is One Punch Man. This is one of the greatest hero story in manga history. And that is a huge misconception. I'm not sure about the greatest hero story in manga history though. Well, it is up to your preference, but popularity doesn't always mean it will suddenly get the best treatment or the highest budget at all. One Punch Man is famous, so it must get a big budget. No, it doesn't work like that. And I can have Chikashi Kubota to back up with this statement. She said One Punch Man is often perceived as having a generous budget, but that's absolutely not the case. It's strictly at an average level. It's the passion and dedication of the participating animators along with the hard work of each section that brings One Punch Man to life. We appreciate your continued support for the One Punch Man anime. While it is true that budget also plays a role in a production of an anime, but when you don't have as good of a connection as Shingo Natsume from Season 1, the quality of Season 1 itself is just an anomaly. While I personally don't think it is impossible to have a quality as good as One Punch Man Season 1, but it is really rare to have that. One of the few anime that even reaches One Punch Man Season 1 are those big guns: Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, Mob Psycho, an anime producer with a really good connection with tons of great name in the industry. This is also why some people doesn't really trust JC Stuff for handling One Punch Man in the first place. Not saying that they are not capable of making a good adaptation of One Punch Man, but I doubt it will even reach Season 1 quality at all, even if it's being given a really good production schedule. Because Season 1 is literally the gathering of the Avengers, you could say. I would like to emphasize it even more. Just because One Punch Man is famous doesn't mean it will get the best treatment. I've said this multiple times. If the production committee thinks the risk is too high, the profit is uncertain, the return won't be worth it, then the show will not get top tier treatment. And if no company wants to invest their money, there's no animation, no season, no nothing. The anime industry unfortunately has become this brutal environment where if it doesn't guarantee money, we don't talk. Unless the studio itself willingly invests their own money, like MAPPA did with Chainsaw Man, they are stuck with whatever the committee allocates. And in One Punch Man case, the location itself isn't even enough to have a subpar quality of even Season 2 of One Punch Man. So no, it's not as simple as Bandai evil, boycott fix. It is the unfortunate truth of broken corporate multi-company system. While it is true that part of the problem came from the production committee themselves, but everything just ends up going back to business. And that system is the real reason One Punch Man Season 3 looks the way it does. And for this same reason, there are tons of overworked and underpaid animators that is trying their best to complete their own shows. While you can criticize the final work, please at least have some common sense and not attack the stuff because they are trying their best to even complete a show before the deadline. Right, so after all this, the big question is, if boycotting won't work, then what can we do? And unfortunately, this is where it gets a bit uncomfortable. Because even though the boycott shows passion, it really does, the truth is, it's not going to shake the production committee even a bit, or even Bandai Namco. The western side of the One Punch Man fandom is loud, but in terms of impact, it is pretty tiny. And the numbers prove it. This is Bandai Namco's revenue breakdown from the official Bandai Namco factbook, and from what we got on their financial report, the revenue that they got overall from Japan is 69.8%, and the remaining 30% were split between 3 other regions. From America, which is 11.3%, Europe 10.2%, and also from Asia excluding Japan 8.7%. So that basically means nearly 70% of their income comes from domestic Japan alone. So when people say if we boycott, they will listen to us, or it will at least reach them, I would like to emphasize that you are boycotting 11% of their revenue. While yes, that is still a huge amount, but if we really compare that to the revenue that was generated in domestic Japan alone, it is pretty small. And not even all of that 11% comes from anime. A lot of it is from games, toys, and merch. And the funny thing is, One Punch Man isn't even in their top financial priority list. Here is Bandai's group-wide IP revenue. Dragon Ball 190.6 billion Japanese yen, Gundam 153.5 billion Japanese yen, One Piece 139.5 billion Japanese yen, Naruto 26.9 billion Japanese yen, and Kamen Rider with 30.7 billion Japanese yen. So where is One Punch Man? Exactly, it's not even listed because it doesn't crack up the top revenue categories. So you're trying to boycott a company that doesn't rely on One Punch Man, doesn't make most of its money overseas, and doesn't feel financial pressure from the Western trends. So TLDR, the fans simply don't have the leverage they think they have. And even if every Western fan united and boycotted Bandai, it still wouldn't matter because the root issue isn't Bandai itself. It's the entire production committee system which prioritizes safe investment, avoids risk, squeezes schedules to meet broadcast commitments, gives studios limited flexibility, and often underfunds the actual animation stuff. And to fix this, you'd need an industry-wide overhaul, not a hashtag boycott Bandai Namco. Yes, some studios are trying to modernize the system, trying to get a better condition in terms of how they're going to be handling a certain anime. But that change won't happen in just a few months. We're talking about years, we're talking about decades. And this has been in works for such a long time, we won't even know when it will actually happen. So Easy Quart, what can fans actually do right now? Before that, let me clarify one thing. I'm not asking fans to eat slop or just shut the hell up. Your criticism, your standards, your expectations, those are valid. Nobody should just guilt trip you into accepting a bad production. But there are meaningful ways fans can contribute. And one way you can do is reduce anime piracy, which is literally the bare minimum. You don't need to become a saint to fix the anime industry. You just do the bare minimum because piracy does hurt the industry, especially mid-tier studios. You don't need to be a corporate shill, just don't contribute to the thing that is negatively affect the studio. And the next one is basically supporting fan animators and independent creators. There are a lot of talented and hardworking animators that is a fan of One Punch Man. If you continue to support them and if you continue to spread their work even more, there's definitely a chance for some people to gather a bunch of talented animators to work on a fight scene together, deliver what the fans really want with passion, with an actual good schedule, with no deadlines chasing them. And obviously funding would be a problem, and this is something that I have found in a certain fan animation project. Again, one single fan doesn't really have a big budget or enough money to fund a project, so some people might raise a fundraiser. So this is what is happening for a certain remake of the anime, and they claim once they reach a certain amount of money, they will be quitting their job and start working on the animation immediately. First of all, I understand the passion, but what? I'm not sure about you, but this feels a bit iffy. This whole remaking One Punch Man raises every red flag known to mankind, because you have a large donation goal, no illegal rights, which will probably lead into a copyright infringement, anything related to copyright because they don't own the IP, and there is no guarantee of a final product. So imagine people donating $5,000 for an anime that is not guaranteed to get released, that can legally be shut down anytime, and they don't owe you a refund because it's a donation. Again, supporting a fan animation can be in the form of liking it, commenting it, spreading it, but when it comes to funding it, well, I do understand the passion from the fans, and there are people who would love to take it on another level by literally donating to the actual fan project itself. Well, I'm not here trying to take away all of the funds from them, since it is your own choice and your own money to spend on, but please, just be aware of what is actually happening, because the project is not official, the goal isn't regulated, and the IP isn't theirs. So again, promises are not binding. There's no actual black and white contract on this, so it is still pretty iffy. So yes everyone, those are basically it. I'm not trying to silence everyone with this video. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't voice out your opinion, your criticism towards the anime itself. I'm just trying my best to explain why this whole movement is just a nothing burger, and why it's not going to impact the anime quality even if you make that much of a noise. Again everyone, I hope this video actually educated some of you guys, or is actually informative. I tried my best by improving my video editing skill, and I hope it actually did help you guys not falling asleep while I explain those kind of nerd talk in the actual video itself. So yes everyone, with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video. This video took me 3 days to make, so yeah. But yes everyone, thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next One Punch Man video. Goodbye.